because of people just walking in the church after July 24th, doing what they want to do. Doing what they want to do. I want to thank my wife, Whitehead, for standing next to me and standing beside me during this time, and we're standing next to each other. She wanted to be here today, but she's just still afraid. She's still afraid. My children still have trouble sleeping, and a lot of my members still call me to this day crying because of the trauma. I'm hoping that this clears a lot of things up with my name, as far as, the world believing that I'm a villain instead of a victim, and it hurts. I thank God for my attorney who walked with me every step of the way, Don Florio, and my civil attorney who could not be here today because of what happened. It was too fast. His name is Brian Ponder. And I'm just really thankful for the greatest church on earth, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being out here. So I'll take questions now.
Bishop, how does this clear your name?
Mr. Pollard.
Say that one more time.
Your thoughts on Mr. Pollard staring you down as you walk into that court?
Well, I'm glad you were there, and I'm glad you were able to see the villain that he is, right? And I'm glad you were there to see the hate and to see the viciousness that he had in his eyes for me, and how he stared me down to try to intimidate me. But I'm not going to be intimidated. And I'm glad you were there to see that I'm a victim. And once again, he tried to intimidate me. A preacher, a young man that was illegally convicted, a young man whose father was beat and strangled to death by 16 police officers because of the color of his skin, Arthur Miller, in 1978. A young man that had to grow up without a father. And I'm glad you were there. I'm glad Pix 11 was there to witness, because you guys might not have believed me. You haven't believed me with anything else. So I thank you, sir, for being there and seeing the intimidation. And I forgive him. I forgive him. The Bible says in Matthew 6:14-15, it says, if God forgives us our trespasses, then we have to forgive others their trespasses. And I forgive them. And I thank God for allowing me and my family to be here and not be dead on July 24th.
How does this clear your name? You said this clears your name. How does it clear your name?
Because the tabloids and everybody has been talking about the narrative of the bling bling bishop and the bling bling pastor, and he had to have something to do with it. Why is it taking so long for him to be, for the criminals to be caught? Well, the reason why it was taking long, because it changed from a state to a federal case, and they were doing what they had to do. I'm not a police officer, nor am I a federal agent, but I cooperated with the agent every time they called me, and they would tell you that. Every time they called me, any pictures and anything that they needed, they were able to get it from me without any delay at all. So the media and social medias and the bloggers and the bloggers have changed me to a villain instead of a victim. So that's what I'm talking about. My career in real estate has tumbled because of the tabloids speaking to the sense of me being the villain and me having something to do with it. And nobody wanted to do anything with me. None of the politicians called me to check on me anymore. Nobody called me anymore. So it was just me and my family and my church family. So that's what cleared.
So the chief of detectives said today, basically, that the reason this happened, or their motive, is that these men saw you flashy. They knew where your church was. You spoke to that, but what do you make of it?
Well, that was an assumption. I watched it, and it was an assumption, and it's still further investigation. So, he's assuming there's a lot of different things that's up in the air. There's a lot of things that's in the air. It's a heavy investigation where there's tons of different units that's a part of this investigation. So, I think that I should be able to wear what I want to wear. I think I should be able to dress the way I want to dress. When you look at the Pope, his robes are nearly $50,000, but there is no talk about that at all, But me as an African-American young man, I'm ridiculed. I'm called different names. So I believe that was just an assumption and in their opinion at now.
Did you know the suspects?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
What have the two past months been like for your wife and then this Christmas week?
Hell. It's been hell. My family just came back home. We've been paying for them I've been paying for them to stay in a hotel. My daughter, my kids still can't sleep at all. They can't sleep. The trauma, I've never understood the trauma of this type of robbery. You know, you watch these things on TV, but until you actually are a part of it, you never understand. This is trauma. I'm talking about my members call me crying. If not every day, every other day. My daughter crying and scared. Every slam of a car door. She turns around, she's startled. So this has been hell. And then to not be believed. To not be believed and to be ridiculed on the way I dress. And, you know, it's just, you know, I thought I was a victim. But I just turned into a villain. And it's hell, to answer your question.
Sure, have you ever...
Did you
in any way before the robbery know these two men? Or
Did you ever see them before?
I've never seen them before a day in my life, and this was groundbreaking for me because when you haven't seen them, you know, you don't know what they look like, you know, and I couldn't wait. You know, this morning I was up for 5 a.m. prayer because we're on 5 a.m. prayer for the last year, 7 days a week, and I was up for 5 a.m. prayer. And when I dozed back off, then I got this phone call, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I was so anxious to see what these gentlemen look like because I've never seen them before. I didn't know their names. So when I seen them today, I never saw them before, you know. And then I started to say, wow, you know, why would these young men do this to me? Why would these young men do this to me? You know, we always talk about racism, and we always talk about other ethnicities coming against the black community. But these were my own brothers. So what is our excuse now? What is our excuse now?
What are your thoughts on the late disclosure that they're in plea discussions?
Well, like I said, I'm leaving that up to the prosecutor, and I know that the judge said that they were giving them a window for plea discussions. So I don't know if they're already having plea discussions, but what I do, yeah, that's in every case, as my attorney just said. That's in every case. So I don't think that I don't know if they're in plea discussions, but I know that the next date for court, which I will be here, is October 28th, and I will be here, and I'm.
Well, there you have it. October 28th is the next court date for this robbery that happened at his church. And he's suing a lot of different people. A lot of different YouTubers are getting sued back and forth because the mockery and everything that's been happening since this case has started. So there's your update on Bishop Whitehead. I gotta go, YouTube, because this story just keep unfolding. We gonna get to those recordings, though, that he's been posting. I gotta go, YouTube. Later.